said something that we need to realize. The cross needs to be in the way once in a while. Because so often, it is not front and center. So often, it's pushed to the side. So often, it's just a wall hanging. But that cross, that symbol, that sacrifice that Jesus made for you, for me, that's something that needs to be seen, something that needs to be felt, that's something that we need to know. Now, a lot of times, I like to think of songs as well. And I had an old camp song that I thought about. And it was, "There will no be a Christian's bear I love." And I was thinking about the cross. I was thinking about how I have one hanging on my dining room wall. I've got a picture of the Last Supper hanging on my dining room wall. And I got to thinking, when people come into my house, are they going to say, "Hey, I will know he is a Christian by his wall decor. By his wall decor. Oh yes, I will know he is a Christian by his wall decor." Today I wanted to title this sermon, "Reflecting on the Sun." I'll tell you, I got my inspiration from a Chris August song, "Starry Night," where he basically said, "And you put the moon in the sky to reflect the sun." And that just popped. That phrase right there, reflect the sun. Now, I am a big fan of big, luminescent full moons. I love going outside, and you see that full moon up in the sky. You step outside, you're like, "Hey, Riley, hey, Charlie, come here and take a look. It's beautiful." And then we're driving down the road. Charlie, he loves the moon as well. He's like, "Where's the moon, Dad? Where's the moon?" And it's all because the sun is reflecting off the moon that we see that. Now, I don't know. I'm going to give you just a brief astronomy lesson. There are 8 phases of the moon. We've got it when it's at its dark, when it's called the new moon. Then it goes to waxing crescent, the first quarter, the waxing gibbous, the full moon, my favorite, the waning gibbous, the last quarter, and the waning crescent. Sad part is, many of us will live our lives like we're in a moon phase. We live our lives very cylindrically. It's Sunday morning. My full moon is rising. I'm bright. I'm luminescent. I'm shining. God is here. Jesus is in my life. I can reflect him. You all can see him. It's great. You're here. You're energized. You're excited. And then that Monday rolls around and I got to go back to work. So it dims my light just a little bit. I start to get a little less excited for God, a little less excited about what Jesus is doing in my life, because now I got to focus on my job. Tuesday rolls around and everybody knows what Mondays are like, so that dimmed my light even further. So now I'm sort of coasting on autopilot. I've dimmed a little further. I'm getting a little closer to the new moon. Wednesday, it's my dark moon phase. I'm 3 days out from church, and church is still far away. I don't have that constant reminder of God in my life right there, and I'm starting to sit back and coast in my own power. I'm not thinking about what Jesus is doing for me. I'm not thinking about how God can move me. But then Thursday comes, and I'm 1 day closer to that weekend. That's definitely an exciting time. So then I start to think about all the blessings going on and how much things I can get done on the weekend. And church is this weekend. So then Friday comes along, last day of the work week, church is coming up. Oh wow, I'm about to get really excited, so I'm shining a little brighter. Saturday comes along, I get time with my family. Most Saturdays, that's a blessing. And then Sunday comes, and I'm a full moon horizon again. I'm bright, I'm shining, God is shining through me. Jesus is here, he's reflecting on me, I'm reflecting on him. It's absolutely wonderful. Why did we lose that bright, shining light of Jesus throughout the week? Why isn't that cross, that sacrifice, the Son of God, why isn't he in front of us that whole time? I'm going to read out of 1 John today, 1 John 1:7. It says, "But if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another. And the blood of Jesus, his Son, purifies us from all sin." If we walk in the light as he is in the light. So that's the first part. We have to remember that Jesus is the light, that he is the light that should be shining on us and through us. And when we can remember that, it makes our walk a little easier, so we can walk in the light with him. The other part of that is fellowship with one another. God didn't give his life for you to just sit back and relax and soak up the sun. He gave it to you to reflect, to fellowship with your fellow Christians and non-Christians. You are there to show the light of Jesus in a world that might not necessarily want to see that light. But when that light shines, it shines. First Corinthians 3:13. Verse 11, "For no one can lay any foundation other than the one already laid, which is Jesus Christ. If any man builds on this foundation using gold, silver, costly stones, wood, hay, or straw, his work will be shown for what it is, because the day will bring it to light. It will be revealed with fire, and the fire will test the quality of each man's work." Jesus is the foundation that we are to build our lives on. Jesus gave us that foundation. He gave us the light. He gave us the fire to test ourselves with. We surely will be tested. It isn't we accept the light and we get a passing grade the rest of our lives. We get eternity, but we will be tested with what we do with that saving grace, that amazing grace, that light of Jesus. Now, all too often, we've got options in front of us. We've got this path that leads to the light, this path that leads to Jesus Christ. It's a bright path. It's a glorious path. There's sometimes some things in the way, so maybe it's a little treacherous. We've got to watch our footing. We might slip and fall. I don't know, this path is looking a little harder and harder to really maintain. But you know, I got this path right over here. It's looking pretty clear. It's looking nice and easy. No feet out in the aisles to trip me up. That looks like a really easy path to follow. Maybe I should take that path instead. Oh, you know, I got this path over here. It looks very similar, very easy to traverse, very easy to follow. Now, I know I need to follow this path to the light. I know I should follow the path to where Jesus is leading me. I should follow where God gave us his Son for us. Because way too often we look at the easy path and we see that it is an easy path. But where does that path lead you? Does it lead you to the salvation, to the glory, to the eternity of Jesus Christ? Or does it lead you to damnation? Does it lead you to hell? We need to realize the path that we are on and make that change to steer us closer to Jesus Christ. Now, some people think that Jesus came to earth to condemn us. If you're not a Christian, he condemned you. You are taking that path to eternal damnation. That is not true. God did not condemn us. In fact, in John 3, not 16, but 17 through 21, it states, "For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. Whoever believes in him is not condemned, but who does not believe stands condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of God's one and only Son. This is the verdict. Light has come into the world, but men loved darkness instead of light because their deeds were evil. Everyone who does evil hates the light and will not come into the light for fear that his deeds will be exposed. But whoever lives by the truth comes into the light so that it may be seen plainly what he has done has been done through God. So we're already condemned. Jesus did not come to condemn. He is, he was, he always will be our saving grace. He came to save us. He did not send us, condemn us to a life of damnation. He wants that relationship with you. He wants that relationship with me. He wants eternity with all of us. So now I've got this path, this goal. I've got the light of Jesus reflecting on me. And I'm geared up. I'm headed towards it. There's going to be some treacherous paths, I'm sure, but I will follow this path. But what's that? There's a little storm cloud over there. It's okay. We've needed the rain in Aberdeen, right? So that little storm cloud shouldn't be a problem. So I'm still on my path. I'm still walking towards the light. Jesus Christ. He is my Lord, my shepherd. Wow, the storm's getting a little bit bigger. Just keep an eye on that one. God, I'm yours. I'm here. I'm for you. And the storm breaks. The storm that breaks over you, the storm that breaks over me, that's so easy to hide the light of Jesus Christ. The storms arise, folks. They do. Satan, he will send as many storms into your life as he can. But those storms, they are like the fire that Jesus is going to use to test us. Because the light is still there. We may have lost where the light is, but we know where the path is, and that path will get us back to the light. We have to weather those storms. Now in Acts 27, Paul knew a little bit about storms. When he was on his way to Rome, he got tossed about in a storm. In fact, in verse 20, he says that when neither sun nor stars appeared for many days, and the storm continued raging, we finally gave up all hope of being saved. Gave up all hope of being saved. Hope is not something to give up, to throw to the wayside, to think of very little. Hope is a powerful, powerful tool that we have. In fact, within the NIV version of the Bible, Pope's hoped was listed 166 times. I don't think that God would have us talking about hope so often if it was such a trivial matter. Hope is there for us to cling to use, to help us, especially when those storms come. Because when we hold on to that hope, we can find a way to the path of light. In Psalm 71, verse 14, it says, "But as for me, I will always have hope. I will praise you more and more." So with hope, there is a light. With hope, I know that I can keep praising. I know that with hope, Jesus is waiting for me. In Hebrews chapter 6, verse 18, God did this so that by two unchangeable things in which it is impossible for God to lie, we who have fled to take hold of the hope offered to us may be greatly encouraged. We have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. So folks, when you're on that path and that storm comes, and somebody tosses you that life vest of hope, grab onto it because it is anchored and secure. It is firm and secure. It's an anchor for your soul. That hope will get you through. Now, part of what it means to get to the light is we have to reflect on the Son. We have to know Jesus Christ. And one of the ways that we can do that, folks, is very simple. He gave us a handbook. He gave us the Bible. This has so much knowledge for you and for me to learn, to know what we are to do. We are not cast adrift in the world. We are not set adrift in a dark place. We are given the guidance. We are given the knowledge of how we are to reflect the Son. Now, we do need to always put Jesus first, and it's so easy to, like I said, during the work week, kind of start to lose that focus. Folks, I got to tell you, don't lose that focus. Don't lose that drive for Jesus to be your first. Because when Jesus is in your heart, are you going to hide him under a bush? Oh no. You're going to let him shine. And if Jesus is in your heart and he's shining, the people around you, they will notice. Because when Jesus is shining through your heart, he lights up the dark places around you. So folks, I got to ask you, are you ready to let Jesus shine in your heart? I say, I am. I hope you are too. Now in Proverbs, one more Bible verse right here. Proverbs 27:19. As water reflects a face, so a man's heart reflects the man. Absolutely. As water reflects a face, so a man's heart reflects the man. There it is, folks. The importance of Jesus being in your heart. Jesus being there to light up those dark places. How are you reflecting Jesus today? How are you reflecting Jesus on Wednesday? Jesus should